Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to welcome everybody for joining us on this amazing webinar. My name is Lisa Carter out of Cameron Park, California, and we've got several of you chiming in here, and just wanted to thank you for taking out some time to learn more about how to create more sales on your team, how to get your home-based business really going, and how to help your team do the same. You know, the art of being successful when it comes to having a home-based business is all geared around duplication. And I've had the privilege of knowing Eric Lofholm now for the last couple of years, and I got to tell you that Eric is probably one of the best trainers that I've ever seen in this industry. He's got 15 years experience, and he's worked with well over 10,000 people in helping people create streams of income from home. He is a leading expert when it comes to developing sales scripts. He's a coach. He's a speaker. He's even shared the same stage with Les Brown. So if you guys know who Les Brown is, that's huge. And Eric Lofholm is well known in this industry of helping industry professionals take their business to the next level. And so I'm really excited to share some content with you that Eric has put together for our team and for everybody joining us. Eric also has a book out called Duplication that I've actually had the privilege to read myself that is absolutely incredible. So if you guys want a copy of that book, send me a personal message on Facebook. I'm at Lisa Marie Carter in Cameron Park, California, and I'll make sure that I mail you guys a copy. With that being said, Eric, I'm going to have you take it away, my friend.
Fantastic. Well, Lisa, thanks so much. And I'm going to bring you back on at the end of the webinar for any additional ideas that you want to share. In me sharing, there may be an idea that gets sparked for you because, you know, you're an absolute rock star, one of the dominant forces in this industry, and you may have some additional thoughts that you'd like to share. And to get us started off here, I want to just take a moment and acknowledge all of you for being here. The fact that you're here is it's a big deal because you're setting your intention that you want to increase your results. If you did not have a sincere interest in increasing your results, there's no way you could end up here. So it's a big deal that you're here. And as I put together the content for this webinar, it's really deep. It's deep, very powerful golden nuggets. I've been thinking about duplication for many, many years, and as Lisa shared, I've written a best-selling book with my co-author, Judy O'Higgins, who's a rock star herself. And so let's dive right into the content. I want you to be open to super genius ideas coming into your mind from this webinar. And if there's any way you could just be focused on what I have to share, I know sometimes when you do these webinars, you're multitasking, and that's fine. If there's any way you could just really focus in on what I'm about to share with you, it's going to help you get the most value. And I want you to know that it's possible that you could get a breakthrough idea on this webinar that could just take you into the stratosphere with your home-based business, your network marketing business. It's my intention to deliver to you a breakthrough in your thinking about duplication. In training in the industry, I always like to start with the idea of train the trainer. And what I mean by that is take what you learn in this webinar, apply it, and teach it to others, and create a culture on your team about training the trainer. And this idea of culture, it's a huge idea. And I'm going to explain it in a way in just a little bit. I'm going to talk about thinking in combinations. And I found that this way of explaining culture, it really lands with people. And it's like all of a sudden this light bulb goes on in your brain, because what happens so much of the time, you know, I'm a student myself. I love knowledge. And I'm regularly doing coaching programs and reading books and coming to webinars like this and attending seminars and so forth. And here's the deal. A lot of the time, we have a great idea. It goes in one ear, it goes out the other, and nothing changes. And then there's other times when we have an idea that comes in our mind and it lands. And then it becomes a part of the culture of the way that we do things. And so I want to explain to you a way of thinking about culture to help you create a breakthrough. And then what I want you to do is take the train the trainer idea and bring it to your entire organization. I want to share with you a little bit about my background so you can get connected to who I am. I also, like Lisa, live here in California, a little town called Rockland outside of Sacramento. And I was very successful right out of high school. My first job that I ever had right out of high school, I made over $100,000. Now, I didn't make over $100,000. That would have been a great story. Kid right out of high school makes over $100,000. No, I made over 100,000 hamburgers. I was a cook at McDonald's. And I worked at McDonald's for 3 years. And what I didn't know then is actually how that was going to help me in my life today. Because McDonald's is a system. And my brain thinks in systems. Network marketing, home-based business, it's all about systems. And we're going to talk about some of those systems. So working at McDonald's actually shaped some of my early philosophies about systems. Now, I ended up going into sales. And this is a photo of me at my first sales job. And back here, I was 22 years old in this photo. And as you could tell, back then, I was very stylish. I had my purple pants, my matching plaid socks. And at this company, I was the bottom producer. And part of why I was so bad at sales is I had never been professionally trained. And so some of you with your business, it's just a matter that maybe you've never been professionally trained in a way where it landed with you. And so I'm about to get fired from this job 21 years ago because I'm the bottom producer and I misquoted 2 months in a row. And I meet this individual. His name is Dr. Donald Moyne. Dr. Moyne is my mentor. He's the author of a book called Unlimited Selling Power. And he began to mentor me. And he provided me professional training for the first time in my life. And I went from worst to first in 60 days. And I've never looked back. I've gone on to millions and millions of dollars in sales from what it is that I learned there. And I want to plant a seed in your unconscious mind, a seed of greatness about your potential once you get the right information. You know, like Lisa, who introduced me. You know, she put her time in and she learned the business, and now she's one of the rock stars in the industry. And I want you to know, if you have the drive and the motivation, if you're coachable and you're willing to put in the work, I want you to know that's possible for you. And that's what happened for me when I met Dr. Moyne. This is one of the many books that he's written, Unlimited Selling Power. And we're going to talk a little bit about sales today. Now, for some of you, you might think, well, what does sales have to do with a home-based business or network marketing? I thought the business was about sharing. And it is. It absolutely is about sharing. But listen, I want to just be honest with you guys. I want to keep it real. At the end of the day, if you're delivering a presentation and you're enrolling, you're asking for a credit card, whether you want somebody to join your team or buy your product. That's sales, no matter how you slice it. And the more comfortable you become with delivering a presentation and asking for the order, the more successful you're going to be. Sometimes we have things in our life that we just avoid because it's like a hard topic. It's a hard topic, and we want to avoid it. And we don't want to avoid this. We want to become outstanding at delivering a great presentation, whether you call it sales or you call it enrollment or you call it sharing. You call it whatever you want. What I would like for you is I'd like you to become outstanding at delivering an effective presentation. Because part of duplication is this. You recruit somebody, and then they're going to come to you and they're going to say, so what am I supposed to say when I introduce the business to somebody else? And then a man can only teach you what he knows. A woman can only teach you what she knows. So if they say to you, what do I say, and you don't have a good answer to that, see, but if you know exactly how you're doing it, then you can duplicate yourself in them. And I'm going to share a couple of success stories of people that I've worked with in the home-based business industry that I taught how to do this. and it was a game changer. And I taught them, take what I teach you, and then you apply it, and you teach it to your team. So after leaving that first job, I went to work for Tony Robbins. And I worked for Tony for 3 years, and then a little over 17 years ago, I branched off and started Eric Lofholm International. We're a global sales training organization, and we specialize in teaching systems that are duplicatable. About a third of my clients are in the network marketing or home-based business industry. I've been teaching in the industry and teaching duplication now for a little over 17 years as of January this month. I've been duplicating myself and my clients during that time. I currently teach my systems to 6,500 students per week all over the world. And my goal is to duplicate myself in 1 million people, teaching them my sales and success systems. I have 2 outcomes for our webinar. And my first outcome is to teach you breakthrough ideas on how to create duplication in your business. My second outcome is to invite you to mentor with me and receive the finest training in the world on how to deliver an effective presentation. And I'm going to make that available at the very, very end of the webinar after I've delivered incredible value to you for as little as $49 a month. So if you'd like to work with me, money's not going to stand in the way. Now, I'm going to teach you one of the most profound ideas that I've ever discovered. Being in this conversation of sales and success, being trained by people like Tony Robbins and Les Brown and Dr. Moyne, and reading Think and Grow Rich, and Michael Gerber, the guy behind the E-Myth, and Lisa Nichols, and so many people, including Lisa Carter, who I interviewed Lisa on one of my podcasts and have learned from her as well. I'm always getting these ideas. Guys, this is one of the best of all the ideas I've ever learned. And I'm so excited to share it with you. And I hope that it just lands with you and you get it. So it's about thinking in combinations. It's how do you think like a genius? You see, Steve Jobs, when he was alive, he used to think in combinations. So it goes like this. If you take your right hand and make a slight fist and kind of put your arm out to the side, your right arm out to the right side, that's ice cream. And then make a slight fist with your left hand, kind of put it out to the left side, that's cone. Okay? Ice cream, cone. Now, you bring your hands together and like shake hands with yourself, like clasp your hands together. That's ice cream cone. So here's the deal. Ice cream cone is different than ice cream cone. It'd be like eating a dish of ice cream by itself and then eating the cone after you finish the dish of ice cream by itself, or vice versa. You see, there's a difference between ice cream cone and ice cream in a cone. Like there's a difference between some roast beef and some bread and then a sandwich. See, if you eat roast beef by itself and the bread by itself, it's different than eating a sandwich. And guys, this is a huge, huge concept, and I'm going to explain deeper so you can really wrap your arms around this. Train the trainer is like ice cream. Culture is like cone. Culture is the way that you do things with you and with your team, whether it's with you and your upline, with you and your downline, with the way you operate. You have a culture within your company. Your company has a culture, but you have a culture within your company culture, and your team, if you have a team of people, they have a culture. And so, like, part of Lisa's culture is doing web-based training like this, whether it's through the Google Hangouts or this one is a webinar, and she has a fabulous YouTube channel. You guys should check out her YouTube channel. It's absolutely fabulous. Got thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and you might even get well over 100,000 views. That's a part of her culture, okay? So train the trainer culture, that's like ice cream cone. You see? So you create a culture within your team that everybody's thinking, take what you learn, apply it, and teach it. Because in my experience, a lot of people in the home-based business industry, they don't think of themselves as coaches or trainers. But see, here's my view. Everybody in the industry is a trainer. Everybody. Because everybody wants to duplicate. So duplication happens. Part of duplication is a mindset. So let's go deeper. Culture like your left hand. Duplication culture, that's like bringing the hands together. So you create a culture of duplication with everybody thinking that. So for example, with my students, I'm a trainer, okay? So I create a culture within my students of playing at a 7+ on a daily basis on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you choose to become one of my clients, within our cultures, we play at a 7, 8, 9, or 10 every day. Now, people choose to play at whatever level they choose to play at, but that's our culture, okay? And so it's a culture of peak performance. It's a very, very powerful idea. Enrollment system, culture. Enrollment system, culture, okay? So you want to create a culture within your organization of enrollment. So, like, another thing that I observe, and I've worked with thousands of network marketers, thousands of people that have their own home-based business. They come into the business, and they never get to that point of enrollment. And maybe they're just selling products. I've worked with a lot of people that are good at the product side of their business, and they might say, well, I get somebody involved in the product, but I never think to go back to them and introduce the business. And this is incredibly common, but the problem is that's not how you become a highly successful. You become highly successful by enrolling people in not only the product, but the business side of the opportunity. Motivation versus skill building. So I'm a motivational skill building trainer. I actually do both. Skill building, you teach somebody how to create a top 25 list. Once you teach them that, they have that skill for the rest of their life. You don't have to keep going back and teaching somebody how to do a top 25 list. Well, it's going to how to do it, or a top 200 list, or whatever you're doing with your team to help them with the lead generation of growing their warm market, of identifying their warm market. Once you teach somebody that, they know how to do it. See, motivation is different though. Zig Ziglar said motivation is like taking a bath. You need it every day, right? Because our energy level, when you wake up in the morning, I think of energy like this. You wake up at a 0, energy-wise, or +1 or -1. That's usually how we wake up. So you wake up in the morning, and if you maybe had a nightmare, you didn't have such a good sleep, or you're stressed, right? You're having a challenge with finances, or your spouse, or your kids, or whatever. Right? So you wake up sometimes at -1. And then other times you just wake up and you're energetically neutral, and then sometimes you wake up and you kind of got a little bounce in your step. Well, if you wake up and you're at a -1 and then you go out and try to build your business, it's pretty tough. So you tap into some motivation. You listen to a good audio, you read a success book, you say your affirmations, and then that takes you from a -1 to a 0. Now you get out and you go about your day, or a +1. So we need ongoing motivation, and the reason we need ongoing motivation is it has to do with our energy level. There's 4 key systems to grow your home-based business: lead generation, appointment setting, lead conversion, duplication. So what I'm teaching you right now is, from my viewpoint, some things to really focus in on. Focus in on lead generation systems, appointment setting systems. So appointments could be a 3-way call, it could be in-home meeting, a one-on-one meeting, inviting them to a webinar, inviting them to a Saturday training, hotel meeting, whatever it is that you're doing to build your business. In my world, I would call all of that appointment setting. You could call it inviting/appointment setting. So you need to know how to do that. And if you know how to do it, awesome. Big high five over the webinar line. From my view, you need to know it to be able to do it and to teach it. And then lead conversion. Lead conversion has to do with the ability to deliver an effective presentation to move them to action. And either you need to know how to do it, or if you work with your upline, or there's a webinar that you drive people to where they sign up, there needs to be in your mind a clear way for you to know, once you have this prospect on your lead list, and then you invite them to something, or you set an appointment, and then you get them into a presentation where they have enough information in order to make a buying decision, that you can convert that person into buying your product or joining your team. And then number 4, to be able to duplicate it. Now, what's on the screen there? That's a learning curve. Okay? Here's the deal. There's work involved in all of this, even if you're doing it in spare time. But the thing is, from a skill building standpoint, once you know those 4 things, you have it for the rest of your life. You don't have to keep learning lead generation once you know how to do it. Once you know how to appointment set, once you know lead conversion, once you know duplication. And so this is one of the things that I'm passionate about. I've made my life's work teaching what's on the screen here to people like you all over the world. And after I have a lot more golden nuggets to share with you, but after I've shared all this great content, golden nuggets, if you want my help and you want to go deeper, $49 a month. All right, so here's one of my clients, and she had never been professionally trained before. She was trained by her company, but she wasn't getting, it just didn't resonate as far as exactly step-by-step how to do it. So I taught it to her, and she sent me this message over Facebook, and she says, correction, 4 for 4, big day. Then she goes, another enrollment today, 5 for 5. And I said, that's awesome. I just received a call from the corporate office congratulating me on my success. Can't thank you enough for all you've done and continue to do for me and my team. So what I did for my client here, just teach her this. How do you generate the leads? How do you book the appointments? How do you convert? How do you duplicate? And then she closed 5 out of 5 and got a call from corporate. Imagine corporate office called you up. Hey, congratulations. You're on fire. Way to go. Now, I checked in with my client, Angie, and in the last 30 days, she's personally brought in 5 people, and her team, I think this is the bigger one. I think 5 is extraordinary, but her team has brought in 47 people by learning the system that I'm teaching you right now. There's 3 ways to elevate your results: the inner game, the outer game, and action. Inner game is mindset, belief systems, and comfort zones. It's the mental side of your business. Outer game is the how-tos. How do you generate a lead list? What do you do if you run out of warm market? How do you recruit somebody? After you recruit them, what do you do next? If you're doing an in-home meeting or if you're doing a demonstration, how do you do it? That's the how-tos of the business. How do you explain the comp plan? Okay, that's another thing you need to know. You need to know how to explain the comp plan. You want to do it in a simple way. And then the third thing there is action. And action is doing the things that you know that you should be doing in your business. Now, let me ask you, January, guys and gals, is a hot, hot month to grow your business. So we're 2 weeks in. How has your action been in your home-based business over the last 2 weeks? Think about this. Are you recognizing you need to be taking more action in your business? Now, when we have the conversation about duplication, we need to explore, well, what is duplicatable and what isn't? Because not everything is duplicatable. And if it's not duplicatable, that does not necessarily mean we don't want to be doing it. So I want to go deeper into this, and I want you to be thinking about this. Be in the inquiry. Well, what is duplicatable? What is it? Well, I'm going to give you my take. A 3-way call is duplicatable. Using your company tools, duplicatable. An in-home meeting. You do not need to have charisma to do an in-home meeting. You don't need any special skills. You just follow the formula. A one-on-one presentation, that is duplicatable. All right, so all those things, you can learn them and you can teach them to your team. What isn't duplicatable? 3-foot rule. No. Am I advising you not to do the 3-foot rule? No, absolutely not. You might be the kind of person that you sit next to somebody on the plane and you start talking to them, and the next thing you know, they're interested in your business. And if you're that person, that's awesome. Okay? I'm not that person. Okay? When I'm on an airplane, I tend to put my earbuds in before the person sitting next to me starts talking to me. And so it's just, I'm more introverted. It's just my nature. So if I'm on your team and you're like, hey, Eric, you got to do 3-foot rule, I'm going to be like, oh, I can't do this. So 3-foot rule is a great strategy, and if you do it, then keep doing it. And teach it to those on your team that resonate with that. A hotel meeting. Here's why it's not duplicatable. Hotel meeting requires charisma. You got dollars on the line, a couple $100 to book a hotel room. And not everybody can do it. But if you have that charisma and you can fill up that room and make it work, awesome. Go for it. Just know from my view, it's not duplicatable. Public speaking, not duplicatable. Some people are they're like, there's no way I'm going to do public speaking. Paid ads. This is a strategy that's taught in the home-based business industry. It's good if you're effective at closing. If you can enroll like crazy, paid ads could be a great strategy, but it's not for most people in network marketing. It just doesn't make sense. All right, here's your next idea, and this is a golden nugget I learned from a seminar that I went to, and the woman, the trainer's name was Brenda Byers, and she talked about this idea of energy advantage, and it has to do with your natural gifts and talents. Every one of you on this call right now was born with gifts. So what you want to do, my suggestion is identify what are your naturally born gifts. You might call it your spiritual gifts. You might call it just your natural gifts. You see, you are better than 90% of the global population at certain things based on natural gifting. So my natural gifting, encouragement, public speaking, teaching. Those are three things that I'm really good at, but nobody taught me how to do it. Sales is something that I was professionally trained at because I'm not a naturally gifted salesperson. So you want to go, well, what are my natural gifts? And put that into your business. Put that in your business. Lisa, who introduced me, she's a mentor. She's a naturally gifted coach. She just has a huge heart for helping people. And so she uses like YouTube or a call like this to inspire her team, right? And so you want to look at are you super organized? And if you are, then wrap your business around it. If you're really good at working with people doing one-on-one coffee meetings, one of the top network marketers in the world, he's like the coffee meeting guy. He'll sit down with you at a coffee shop and he just does coffee meetings. Me and my business, I don't hardly ever do a coffee meeting, occasionally. But I'm much more over the phone. If you're really good with social media, like Lisa's phenomenal at social media, okay? If you're really good at social media, so identify what's your energy advantage. Now, listen to me. Energy advantage is duplicatable. But if I'm good at encouragement and my person on my team's good at organization, I don't want to tell them to be good at encouragement. I want to teach them, let's focus on your strength. That's something that's duplicatable. It's a powerful idea. Duplication systems. What does your team need to know how to do? They need to know how to generate leads. So this is on your list of ask yourself, do I know how to generate leads? Do I now train the trainer how to teach my team how to generate leads? If the answer is no, you need to learn that. I know how to book appointments and invite. If I don't know that, then I need to learn that, and then I need to be able to teach it to my team. Do I know how to deliver a product presentation? Now here's the thing. This is my specialty, number 3 and 4 there. I can help you with 1 and 2, and I'm one of the best on the planet at 3 and 4, teaching you step-by-step how to deliver a product presentation, how to deliver a recruiting presentation. This is my own take on this, okay, guys? I'm going to suggest that you don't want to avoid 3 and 4. Now, there is a workaround. If you're like, I absolutely just do not want to do that, you could team up with your upline, because maybe your upline is really, really good at that, and maybe you guys have an agreement, and you send them to your upline, and you put them to a webinar, and they watch the webinar, an in-home meeting. There's different ways. There's a workaround on it. So it's not like you absolutely have to do it, but it makes your business work so much easier, and it's really not hard. And I'm going to tell you a story in just a little bit about my co-author with the book Duplication, Judy O'Higgins, and I taught Judy this. I taught her how to deliver an effective product presentation, a recruiting presentation, and how to teach it to her team. And her company, there's over 100,000 reps. She's in the top 20. So she's like Lisa Carter. She's just like astronomical as far as her results. But she had to learn how to give the presentation. So These are the things that I feel are very important for you to know how to do and then how to teach to your team. All right, here's my next idea for you guys, and this is talked about in my book, Duplication. And I got to thinking, you hear this a lot. It's all about the system, and you hear about duplication. And I like to think in terms of duplication systems. I've developed a lot of people through the years, and people need a system for leadership. So, you hear this a lot, recruit leaders, develop leaders. What does that actually mean? Well, one way to develop a leader is to have them coach. When I say coach, I mean work with somebody in their downline one-on-one. So if you were in my downline and your name is Mary, and I go, Mary, listen, I'm looking to develop some super motivated people in my downline, and I've hand-selected you, Mary, and I'd like to offer to work with you one-on-one. And what that looks like is we do a couple of coaching sessions a month. We could do a meeting after the meeting, one-on-one, or I could talk to you over the phone. And what I'm going to do, Mary, is I'm just going to pour into you and give you the best of what I know. But here's the deal, Mary. If I'm willing to do that for you, I would like you to, number one, be active in the business. Number two, be willing for you to coach 3 other people. And all that means, Mary, is you're going to select 3 people over time. You're going to work with them one-on-one. You're going to help the best you can. And when you offer to work with them, Mary, you're going to say to them the same thing I'm saying to you. You need to be active in the business, and you need to be willing to coach 3. Mary, are you willing to do that? And she says yes. So I want you to think about what's going to happen here. So I'm now going to work with Mary. Now, I am a professional coach, but let's just say I wasn't. I'm just going to pour my heart into her, and I'm going to help her the best I can. Now, when I do that for Mary, what happens to my leadership skills? They get a little bit better. Because something I've learned being in the coaching industry for 17 years is one way you get better is you coach others. So right now, by me delivering this webinar, I'm actually getting a little bit better, me personally, right now. And when I coach somebody one-on-one, I get a little bit better. So when I coach Mary, my skills improve, my leadership skills grow. Now when Mary hand selects somebody and starts coaching, Mary's leadership skills grow. But then Mary's now duplicating herself in, say, Barbara. And so now Barbara, she's going to go to Jennifer and say, now Jennifer, I'm looking to coach 3 people, and would you like to be one? You need to be active in the business and willing to coach 3. And so Jennifer agrees to do that. So I coached Barbara, and then Barbara coached Jennifer, and then Jennifer's not coached. And you can actually get true duplication multiple levels through in your organization. If you made what I'm teaching you right now part of your culture, if you said coach 3 to coach 3, and you really caused this to be a part of your culture, it would be mind-blowing. Angie, who I talked to you guys about a little bit, this is exactly what she's doing in her organization. She's the one that had 47. The team grew by 47 in the last 30 days. And she was just like a regular network marketer, regular home-based business person when I started working with her. See, you got to think like duplication. It's a different way of thinking. And the reason why I think like this is in part because my big dream, I want to train and certify 1 million people. So it's like, well, how do I do that? Well, I have to have duplication systems in order to be able to successfully do that. So remember what I taught you earlier? Coaching, right hand. Culture, left hand. Coaching, right hand. Culture, left hand. Coaching, culture. That's where your hands are clasped together. So you bring that into your organization, and it's really powerful. I wish I could spend another hour just on that one idea. Try it out for yourself. How does it deliver an effective sales/enrollment presentation? You can call it, when you meet with somebody and you talk about your product, you can call it a sales presentation. You can call it enrollment. You can call it sharing. You can call it whatever you want. At the end of the day, there's a very specific process that you take the prospect through. What I teach is dissect, dissect. And what that means is you break down the process into individual steps, and you work on each step in the development of it. Think of it like this. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. So each link in your enrollment conversation is like a link in the chain. So an area where a lot of you can get better at is explaining the comp plan. And if I unmuted you right now, I'm not going to, but if I just randomly called one of you and I unmuted you, I said, okay, you're live now. There's 500 of us on the line right now. So tell us, explain to us your comp plan. Some of you, that'd make you pretty nervous if I did that, right? Because you haven't learned how to explain the comp plan. And that's okay. Like, we're all learning, right? We're all learning. But what I'm suggesting to you is break down your presentation into these individual steps and work at it. This is what I have Angie doing with her team. So this is what I teach. I teach a process called the Sales Mountain. This is what I taught Judy O'Higgins, and she's now one of the absolute rock stars in the industry. And basically what you're looking at here is you break down the enrollment conversation, whether it's a product presentation or a recruiting presentation, into individual steps. So in this case, lead generation, appointment setting, trust and rapport. You see it on the screen there on the left-hand side, identify customer needs. This is not what's on the screen, by the way, customized for the home-based business industry. This is just teaching you the idea of breaking down the process into individual steps. So you see where it says trust and rapport. What we would do there is we would forget everything else in the presentation, and you would study trust and rapport, and you'd get better at it. And when you get better at trust and rapport, it makes the whole presentation more effective. And you literally learn each step in the process, and then you get better at all of it. And what this can do, guys, it can turn you into a recruiting superstar. And she went from average to extraordinary. Average to extraordinary by learning this process. So Sales Mountain, right hand, culture, left hand. Sales Mountain, right hand, culture, left hand. Bring them together, Sales Mountain, culture. That's what Judy did. And Judy is now number 18 in her company. The last time I checked, the rankings fluctuate. She might be a little higher, a little lower today. Last time I checked with her, they have over 100,000 reps, number 18. And that is the biggest idea that she learned from me. I've got one last idea I want to share with you, and then I want to wrap up. I'm going to extend an invitation for us to work together for $49 a month. I'll turn it back over to Lisa, and she can comment on any of the ideas that I talked about, because she's a rock star in her own right. She may have some thoughts she wants to share with you guys, so we're going to give her that opportunity. And I want to give you one last idea. It's not really about duplication. It's just more about you as a human being. Think differently. Create a new story. So you have a story right now about your home-based business. You have a story about your ability to duplicate. So if I got on the phone with you one-on-one and I said, well, tell me, how effective are you at duplication? And you would tell me your story. How effective are you at recruiting? You'd tell me your story. What's the highest rank advancement you could see yourself getting in your company? And you tell me about what you believe is possible. How much money do you believe you can make on a monthly basis? And you tell me your story. It's not good or bad. It's just the way we are. When we talk to people, we tell them our story. So I was talking to this network marketer one time. Her name is Janelle. And she came up to me. And in her company, she had achieved the rank of, it was called Ruby. And many companies have the gems as a rank advancement. So she got to Ruby. And so she said, I'm stuck in the Ruby rut. And that was her story. And I said, Janelle, how long have you been stuck in the Ruby rut? And she said, 12 years. And I did some coaching with her, and I got her to change her story. One of the ways that your mind is designed to work, your unconscious part of your brain, unconscious, subconscious brain, call it whatever you want. Your brain is designed to keep you consistent with how you view yourself, your self-image. I view myself as the top sales trainer in the world. When I look in the mirror, that's what I see. Now, I wasn't born that way. I had to learn how to think like that. So that's my story. I'm going to do something historic in the sales training industry, training 1 million people, something that's never been done in the history of the world. That's my story. That's a powerful story. Now, whether I train 1 million people or not, I operate from that place. So Janelle was operating from, instead of saying, you know, I'm going to become a network marketing millionaire, or I'm going to build a 10,000 plus person team, her story was, I'm stuck in the Ruby rut. You see the problem? As far as producing results, nothing wrong with the story, it just doesn't produce results. So she changed her story. 4 months after I got her to change her story, she went from Ruby to Emerald to Diamond, guys. That's a true story. So here's the deal. Your potential is extraordinary, especially since you're on the webinar. Whether you're listening live or the recording, the fact that you're here is huge. I'll tell you what my mentor taught me over the weekend. I was team teaching a seminar with him. And from his view, and he's probably created more sales millionaires than any other trainer on the planet. From his view, the thing that makes the biggest difference is having a desire to succeed, a deep, burning desire to become successful. He believes that's more important than anything. So the fact that you're on this webinar, there's a very good possibility that you're really, really motivated. Because the point is this, if you're motivated, his point is you'll figure it out. Well, that's where, like, getting elite training from somebody like myself can help you. Because you're motivated, and then I can give you my best, and then you're going to learn from me and other people too. Not just from me. You'll learn from other experts, from Lisa, from other people as well. And I want you to know that what's possible for you is extraordinary. So I'd like you to extend an invitation if you'd like my help. The program I have to offer is called the Unstoppable Selling System. I have over 6,000 clients in the program all over the world. The investment is $1,295. One of the things that I'm known for in the training industry is irresistible offers. So I have an irresistible offer to make to you if you'd like my help. In the program, I'm going to teach you step-by-step how to generate unlimited leads, how to set unlimited appointments, step-by-step how to close, how to handle every objection. That's when they say, I don't have the money, I need to think about it, I need to talk about it with my husband or my wife, it's just network marketing, right? Whatever objection, I'm going to teach you how to handle all that. The way I'm going to train you is I do a one-day virtual seminar, kind of like the webinar that you're on right now, except we train for a whole day. We do that every once in a while. And then my entire system is available in my membership website in 12 professionally recorded modules that you can do at your own pace. I recommend one module a week. The modules are about 30 minutes. So you can do it in 90 days. You can go faster than that, or you can go slower, and you can train right over your smartphone, tablet, or computer. I also do a weekly call, kind of like the training you're on right now, except it's a conference call, and that happens every Thursday at 4 o'clock California time. The program comes with a 70-plus page workbook with very clear step-by-step instructions, and you have access to a private Facebook group with over 1,000 members. And the bonus for signing up in the next hour, and we're going to do this on the honesty policy, because people you're on with me live right now, and there'll be people that you'll be sharing this webinar with on your team, and there'll be people that will be listening and watching this webinar for the foreseeable future. So on the honesty policy, I know those of you that are on the live webinar right now, because I saw you log in, on the honesty policy, register in the next hour, and I'm going to upgrade your membership from a 1-year membership to a lifetime membership. Now, I'm 45, and I plan on doing this work for the next 30 years. So for a one-time investment, you get to train with me for as long as you want with no additional fees or dues. There's no risk. It's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Sign up with any major credit card or debit card, Visa, American Express, MasterCard, or Discover. If you're unhappy for any reason, it's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. So the discount is significant. When you register in the next hour, the discount is $1,000. That makes your total investment $295. Now, I mentioned a couple of times about a $49 a month option. So it's either a one-time payment of $295 or 6 payments of $49. So it's either a one-time payment of $295 or it's 6 payments of $49. Now, when you register in the next 10 minutes, you're going to receive the following bonuses. We're going to ship it out to you at my cost, $199 CD set. And let me just backtrack because I think I made one mistake here on the screen. And I think the website, it's $49 down and 6 payments of $49. So I apologize for that. It's because that would actually come out to less than $295. It's $49 down and 6 payments of $49. That comes out to, I think, $343 or something, or the one-time payment of $295. So here's the bonuses if you register in the next 10 minutes. 6 CD set valued at $199, free bonus for immediate action, 30-minute coaching session with one of my coaches, and now I'm going to throw in my time management course, and you can do that over the web, and I'm going to throw that in for free when you register in the next 10 minutes. Here's the way to register. So just so you're not confused, $49 down, 6 payments of $49, or one-time payment of $295. You can register at silverprotege.com/special. When you go to the website, you're going to need to hit the order button because the pricing on the web page is higher than what you see. When you hit the order button, it'll take you to a checkout page, and I went and I fixed it in like the back office, if you will. So when you actually are asked to put in your credit card, it'll give you the special pricing. So you go to silverprotege.com, hit the order button, it'll give you the correct pricing, or you can call or text 916-626-1945. 916-626-1945. Call or text that number, and we can take your order over the phone if you prefer to do that. Okay, what I'd like to do now, I want to unmute Lisa and bring her on for anything that she would like to share. She's been on the line listening. Lisa, are you there?
I'm here, Eric.
Fantastic. Well, let me turn it over to you. Anything that you would like to share as you were listening in tonight?
Okay, well, I just want to make something clear. So, it's normally $2,000 for this unstoppable selling system. Is that right?
It's $1,295.
Okay, so it's $1,295. And then you mentioned a lifetime membership that's valued at $2,000.
That's a free bonus. So what that means is at the end of the year, and I'm going to fix the slide here so it's reading it correctly. At the end of the year, instead of the membership expiring, they can stay in the program, and there's no additional fees or dues, so they can train with me again in year 2, but they don't have to pay anything. And then in year 3, they don't have to pay anything. And they can keep training with me as long as they want, but they only pay one time, either the 7 payments of $49 or the 1 payment of $295.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, here's what I do know, Eric. I know that just based on what my business partner says, that network marketing, all it is, it's a business. It's a business that offers a product, but it's really a business that's built on personal development. And I've been in this industry now for 8 years, and everything that I've learned in this industry has been as a direct result of learning from someone else who knew more than me. And my first 3 years in the industry were tough. I mean, really, really, really tough, because I was trying to figure everything out, and I was trying to figure it out on my own. And it wasn't until I actually went to an event where someone was there, and her name is actually Danny Johnson. I'm sure you've heard of her. This is before I actually heard about you, Eric.
Yeah.
But I remember going to Danny Johnson's event, and I remember embracing some of her teachings, because she too teaches people how to run a home-based business from home. And I took some of her material home, and what I did was I actually taught it to my team. And so I'm looking at what you're offering here, and I'm thinking, wow, we could do the same thing here, because see, what I did was I just basically got some tools that someone else had put together similar to what you have done here. As I was learning, I was teaching my team at the same time. So what I would do is I would actually put these DVDs in a DVD player and I'd push play, or I'd go to the website, I'd log in, and I'd push play. And I would have these gatherings at my home twice a month. And what happened over the course of the next year in embracing personal development and learning from this other teacher, what happened was is we actually helped close to 300 people qualify for car allowance bonuses.
Wow.
And over that next year, I went from making $145,000 to $500,000 that year, and then the following year, just a few dollars shy of another $500,000.
Wow.
And the funny thing about that story, Eric, is I wasn't the one teaching anything. I was using tools, you know, and that's what this is. You're providing a valuable tool at a deep discount that's going to teach people how to really be a successful working professional from home, saving them years and years and years of frustration of trying to figure it out on their own. I mean, this right here is just a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So I just want you to know that I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of this offer, and I'm looking very much forward to learning more from you, my friend.
Fantastic. Well, Lisa, I appreciate the kind words. And what Lisa just said, I mean, the words that really come to mind, it rings true for me too, is a no-brainer. I mean, I've invested myself with my mentors, Tony Robbins, Dr. Moyne, Jay Abraham, etc. I added it up one time. It was a little over $200,000 in these sales and marketing and motivational and success programs. And so, you know, we make it affordable. I don't want money to stand in your way. It's a lifetime membership. It's very well put together. I started the program in 2003. So this isn't like some new program I just put together. We put together the most powerful principles as far as step-by-step how to deliver an effective presentation. That's all there for those of you that would like my help. So it's 7 payments of $49 or $295. You go to silverprotege.com/special, hit the order button. It'll give you the correct pricing, or call or text 916-626-1945. We can process your order over the phone. I want to just take a moment and acknowledge everybody for being on the webinar, for showing up, for taking great notes if you did, for being open to learning. I look forward to helping those of you that would like my help. And Lisa, I look forward to working with you. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you so much, Eric. Make it a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.